All right, guys, let's finish up with our last video here, markup and markdown exercises. I know I lied. I thought the last one was a final video, but this actually is, and it's a quick one here. So markup and markdown are very similar to percent changes. They're doing the exact same thing, except now we're specifically talking about dollar amounts here. So markup and markdown problems come from changing of prices, and we're going to find the percent change and a markdown and markup problems. So for example, let's talk about a t-shirt, right? So say a t-shirt cost X amount of dollars, right? We'll say this X amount covers this right here, and then we're marking it up, and it's going to cost Y amount of dollars. Let me actually do this with some color here. So say we're starting with X amount of dollars. We'll do X amount in red, and we're marking it up to Y amount in dollars. This will be Y amount. So what we're going to calculate is our percent change, or basically if we're changing from this amount here, from X to Y, we're moving this amount, right? And that's the black line. And that's our difference between our X and our Y. And we find it by doing Y minus X, right? Because we want to find out the difference between these two here. So everything Y has minus everything X has will cut out basically everything from this forward, and that'll tell us only this here. And this value right here, we're going to call this our markup slash our markdown. So if we're talking about this as a Y minus X, let's say, for example, our X is 10 and our Y is 15, then obviously our Y minus our X would give us a 15 minus 10, which is of course 5. So our markup and our markdown would be 5. But that's not where we start there. That's our markup and our markdown. And just like how in the last problem, we didn't want to stop with our amount of change, we don't want to stop with our markup or markdown either. We want to find our percent change. So basically what we want to do now is say what amount this X minus Y, or our markup or our markdown, what percentage of this does it take up? How much of this? Is it worth 20% of this? Is this a 50%? Where, if we cut this line in here and we draw down our markup, what percentages of our original cost is this? All right, so let's get into some examples here, but let's first start with a definition. So a markup is the amount of increase from our cost of an item to the selling price. The percent increase from the original cost is called a percent markup. A markdown is the exact same thing except our price is decreasing. So again, you could solve this one either positive or negatives with absolute values here, but basically you just need to have a little bit of logical understanding of if you start at a higher number and you go to a lower number, that's a markdown. If you start at a lower number and go to a higher number, that's a markup. So that's how we should be looking at this here. Let's go to some examples. So, and of course we have our formula here. Markup is equal to percent markup times the original cost. Let's remember though that markup is not our final value, right? It's just a part of our equation here. So the selling price of an item is $650, marked up from the wholesale price of $450. Find the percent markup from the wholesale price to the selling price. All right, so we have to find our markup here, right? So we're starting at $450 and we're going to $650. So clearly this is a markup exercise. So let's first find the difference between these two numbers here. 650 minus 450 will of course give us 200. And now we can use this to plug into our equation here. And our equation is this. Our markup is equal to the percent markup times the original cost. So this $200 was our markup right here. So $200 is going to be equal to our percent markup. I'm going to write this as a blue P times our original cost. And here our original cost was $450. So this tells us that 200 is equal to 450 P. And of course, we want to be solving for P here. So how do we do this? Well, we got some multiplication going on. Cancel that out. We got to use our algebra and divide here. So we're going to divide both sides of our equation by 450. And we are going to get that, oops, need to grab my calculator, sorry. 200 divided by 450 would give us 0.44 continuing. So 0.4 continuing. And that would be equal to our percent change. Sorry, our percent markup rather. So of course, this would be, after we multiply by 100, remove our decimal 2 spots, 44.4 continuing percent. All right, next one here. An item is on sale for $50, but it needs to be marked up 10%. what should the cost be? All right, so first we want to find our markup here, right? We're going to use the same formula. Markup is equal to percent markup times the original cost. So here, we know an item is on sale for $50. That is our original cost. Here we don't know our M, so I'm going to write a red M for our markup. Markup is equal to our percent markup. Here it's 10%. 10% is a decimal, is 0.10, times our original cost, which here is 50. So we got a 0.10 times 50. All right, 10% of 50 is $5. You could do that either on a calculator or just know when you're multiplying by 0.1, you're moving your decimal 1 to the left. So our markup here is $5. So is that our final answer here, right? If an item is on sale for $50 and it marks up 10%, what should the cost be? Our cost should be $5. No, that doesn't make sense, right? And that's because that's our markup. We're marking something up by 10%, right? We're not saying that's the final cost. So what that means is we need to add $5 to our original cost. So our 50 plus 5, our original cost plus our markup is obviously equal to 55. Now this was a markdown exercise. You obviously would have subtracted that. Like if, for example, this was marked down 10%, then we would have done 50 minus 5, which was equal to 45. But basically, you just have to use a little reading comprehension there to know what you guys are doing. Mark up, you're going up. Mark down, you're going down. As simple as can be. Alrighty, everybody, good luck on those last two problems. Shouldn't be too hard for you. And then after this, I promise you this time you are done. Good luck, everybody, and good job getting through this.